Okay. Testing 1 2, test 1 2. Disappear, thank you. Disappear, thank you. Testing 1 2, test 1 2. 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 Okay, there seems to be no feedback. Okay, there seems to be no feedback. Okay, okay, let's do this. Okay, let's do this. Okay, so today we will be going through the paper 2 for the MYE of math, form 5, secondary 5. Okay, so let's go through this one first. If you are watching this video, you're expected to have the MYE paper on hand so you can follow through me, because I do not have the soft copy of the paper. Therefore, I will expect you to refer to the paper on your hand and follow through this walkthrough. Okay, let me just tip this. Okay, so let's go through. Okay, testing, good. Okay, so let's start with Q1. So everybody knows Q1 is the question we talked about in class, but you might or might not have forgotten it, so this is here for reference. So Q1 basically says there are 45 pupils in class. There are among 45 pupils in class. In that class, 25 like to eat durian. 27 is it? Let me just 0.3. Maybe just too big. 27 like rambutan. Like, let me just make it a bit like rambutan. Okay, so you are given that 1 2 3. This is psi. Basically, this is pronounced as psi. Psi is a Greek letter X. Basically, it's the universe. We call it the universal set. In this case, it will be all the pupils. Okay, and then you have donkey. You have donkey, which is the ones donkey is durians. And then R is the ones who like rambutan. Okay, so over here we also have given that the number of people who like to eat durians and rambutans is H. So H in this case would be both. And then K is the number of people who like neither. So K is the number of students who are basically outside the circles. So in this case, what we can do is we can first draw a Venn diagram regarding this. Okay, so because you have a universal set, you must have a rectangle. Then you basically have two circles like this. So this is your long K, this is your R. We know that sorry, we know that the middle portion is H. So we know that H is the number of students who like both food. So we can put them in the middle of the two circles, because they overlap each other. Okay, so back to this. Okay, so what we have is H is in the middle, K is the number of students who like none of the foods, so we put K outside. Then since 25 lacks un, this will include the middle part. Therefore, this will include the middle part. Therefore, we will be having 25 minus h in the middle over here. Let me just redraw this so it's a bit bigger. Oops, that's a bit too small. Okay, h. So over here you have your un is 25 in total. So the ones that only lack un without being in the middle will be 25 minus h. Then the ones who lack rambutan without the ones who only lack only rambutan will be 27, the entire circle minus out your h. So you get this. Therefore, sub question A asks us to express the number of pupils who lack neither in terms of h. So the number of pupils who lack neither is a very long phrase, but it essentially refers to k. So you have k in terms of h. Okay, so we have k in terms of h. So basically, part A wants you to find k in terms of h. Okay, what does in terms of mean? In terms of this phrase basically means in terms of this phrase basically means your answer for your first thing, in this case your k, for first thing must include all the things on the right. Okay, so in this case we only have one thing on our right, which is h. Therefore k, your answer for k, if you work it out, you should have h inside it. I say all the things because you can have a number of things that the question would want you to represent. So let's say in terms of MF you go for vectors, then you might be asked to, for example, you encounter questions that says, express PA in terms of h, x, y, or h, I, and j, stuff like that. So in this case, the answer for your vector PA should include all these three things. So h vector I, and h unit vector I, and unit vector j. Yeah, so this should be that. So this is a certain example. Okay, but anyway, regarding this question, what we can do is, because the only number we really have is 45, other than 25 and 27, which we have already used over here, the other number that we haven't used yet is 45 itself. Therefore, what we can have is your 45, your total would be equal to your 1, 2, 3, 4, the entire Venn diagram added up together. So 25 minus h plus h plus 27 minus h plus k. So you basically get this. Then you rearrange it. Minus h plus h minus h, you get a single minus h. 25 plus 27, you get 52. So minus h plus k. You want k in terms of h, so your k you leave alone on one side. Then everything else that's not related to k, you just bring over to the other side. So 52 you bring over becomes minus h you bring over becomes plus. So you rearrange this, 45 minus 52, you get negative 7. So I put it at behind h over here. Therefore I get k equals to h minus 7. This is basically what the question wants, nothing else you need to do. Therefore this will be your answer. Okay, save. Okay, next, part B. So part B asks you to find the minimum and maximum number of pupils who lack neither. And if you look at the schema, it's very simple. It just says minimum is 0 and then maximum is 18 with the minus with like minus 7 with it, but that's too simple, so let me explain. In your Venn diagram, let's recall it over here. In your Venn diagram, what we have is two portions, your h 25 minus h, this is durian. 27 minus h, this is rambutan, and then you have your k over here. So in order to make our k minimum, we want to see how h can be. So if you look at the equation k equals to h minus 7, if you look at the equation k equals to h minus 7 that we have from before, to make k the smallest, we want to make sure that h is able to be, well, also it's according to the equation itself lah. Okay, so basically the smallest you can get is basically 0. So because if we make h equals to 7, then k will just equal to 0, and this is the smallest possible you can get. And how we can make h equals to 7? We basically put our h equals to 7 over here, and then basically it will be the fact, it's basically saying that all my 45 students in this scenario, they are only within the circles. Okay, so there are no one that doesn't like either food, therefore they will be in both circles. And since they are in both circles, you will be able to let your number of k, the students who like neither food, to be equal to 0. And the condition that makes this happen is when h equals to 7. So if I draw it out, if I draw this situation out, I have enough space for it. I'll just draw it here. If I draw this situation out, I will get my 7 to be in the middle, then my 25 minus 7 will be 18, and then 27 minus 7 I will get 20. So you can verify yourself that all these three portions, when you add them up together, you get 45, which is equal to the number of students in the class. Therefore, that means all 45 students are like either food or like both, and none of them like neither food. Therefore, over here, your k should be is just equal to 0. So you don't have to write anything, and in this case, this is your minimum. Oh, my nose is not good. Okay, next, you can make your k, how to make your k maximum. We want to see how things needs to be achieved. This is not as straightforward as the minimum case. So to make your k the maximum, you also want your h to be as big as it can, because k equals to h minus 7. So if k needs to increase, h also needs to increase. So we basically say that we basically want h to also increase. Okay, so for h to also increase, I move my mic position, I think this is better. So for h to also increase, what we can do is we can basically take one of the circles and shove it all into the middle portion. So draw this in pink. What if I make it such that the smaller of the two circles all shove into the middle? So this would be, the smaller of two circles is 25, which is the ones who like durian in this case. So what if I say everyone who likes durian is also likes rambutan? So I draw the Venn diagram like this instead. So my durian is entirely, the set of students who like durian is entirely contained in the set of students who like rambutan. So my 25 will be over here. Therefore, my rambutan is outside, is surrounding my durian set, my durian circle, because rambutan has 27, which is more than 25 the durian circle has. So if all the students who like durian also like rambutan, then your outer portion over here will be just the remaining 2 because 27 minus 25 equals 2. So 2 students were out here, and this is as much as you can get it to be. So this is the single way to make your overlap the largest, by basically taking your smaller set and shove it into the middle of the bigger set, likely making the smaller set a subset of a bigger set. In this case, we can say that donkey is a subset of R. It's not equal to, so we do not use this symbol. Okay, we use this symbol directly. So donkey is a subset of R. Let me actually double check if the music is too loud. Yes, come on. And this is as much as you can get it to be. So this is the single way to make your overlap the largest, by basically taking your smaller set and shove it into the middle of the bigger set. Okay, it may be too loud actually. This is draw it down a little bit. Yeah, this should be better. Anyway, if you're watching this video, yes, this is my music case. Anyway, the single-handed way to make your H is the largest is to make the overlap the largest. Your overlap the largest can be achieved by shoving the smaller set into the larger set, basically making it a subset of the larger set. Okay, so that is basically that. Okay, so what we have over here. Okay, good. Okay, back to normal. And I think I finished testing. Okay, so we continue. Okay, so with this, H is the largest, therefore we know that in this condition H is equal to 25, therefore K is equal to 25 minus 8 minus 7, so they get 18 as our answer. So you get 1 answer, 2 answers, so 2 marks in this case. So in terms of the distribution, it doesn't really matter, but in terms of the mark distribution, this is awarded a mark, and then this is 1 mark, this is 1 mark. You're supposed to know this. You're not expected to draw this out. The schema has no drawings. So yeah, you're expected to just know this. Okay, next question. Question 2 is a weird one. It's a bit weird because it says that, oh, Mr. Dharma blah blah blah, calculate monthly cash flow normal, and then there's suddenly an explain your answer part. So unfortunately, because I have to follow the schema, this portion I basically made it such that if you said anything at all explaining regarding this cash flow, I will give the mark. Yeah. But honestly, this question is a bit weird. I personally don't think we actually bump into this in the period of time we did. You guys going through the try papers or SPM stuff, blah blah blah. So anyway, active income of 30,000, of 3,000, 30,000 is insane. Active income of 3,000, passive of 1,000. Active income of, active income of 3,000, passive of 1,000, and then it says that this is monthly obviously, and then fixed expenses expenses of 1350 and variable expenses of 650. Basically I do not know when you need to differentiate it, because I don't think there's any case that you need to explicitly differentiate it unless the question asks you to do so. But in a normal sense, if you calculate expenses, you just lump sum the fixed and variable together, because you don't have any more data talking about we have these few months, the average of the variable expenses is this much. We are not also calculating that, we don't even have that information, so just use it directly lah. Therefore, part A, monthly cash flow. This is just part A, monthly cash flow. This is just asking you to take your active and add your passive, and then minus out your expenses, and then you should get 2000 RM. Okay, we make sure. And this is 1 mark. The explanation part, according to the schema, it just says let's read it. Fine. Some might not watch the video. Mr. Dama receives 4,000 in income after income period, after paying for expenses. Where my handwriting is. After paying for expenses, he is left with I think it's too thick, that's why I might need to. Okay, this is even thicker. Okay, this is too much of a tip. 0.2? Okay, this is way better. 0.25. Okay, this is better. 0.3 is too thick. Okay, he has left with 2,000. So this is the one given in Mr. Gandhi's schema. This is 1 mark. That's it lah. But for me, any type of explanation is accepted. KB, okay, Mr. Dama's cash flow if Mr. Dama doesn't have any passive income and the total expenses increase by 60%. Okay, so in this case, he has no passive income. Okay, therefore, okay, so no passive income means that his only income in this case is equal to 3,000. Expenses increased by 60% means that your 2,000 of expenses you will need to multiply by 160%. So in essence, it says 1.6. Yeah, it says 1.6. Or if you really want to, you can multiply 160%. You can put this on a calculator, you get the same answer. You should be able to get 3,200. Therefore, his monthly cash flow is now 3,000 minus this number. You are left with negative 200. Negative RM200. Okay, so this is real 1 mark basically here. So and then the second part of the question asks you to explain your answer and give suggestions on how to increase his total income. So over here, I would like to stress that if you write something about increasing his income, like taking a part-time job, teaching tuition, or going or being a grab driver, like stuff like that, then it will be suitable for the question. So you get 1 mark for that. Increasing income is a 1. But if you write something about decreasing his expenses, that is not directly increasing his income, so this will not be awarded anything. Because the question wants you to talk about increasing his income, not decreasing his expenses. So there are two different things. So if you write stuff like decrease his related expenses, stuff like that. That's too general, one, and two, it's not what the question wants. This would fit if the question says you want to increase his cash flow. Okay, if the question says you want to increase his cash flow, then decreasing his expenses is obviously a way to increase his cash flow. But if the question wants that earns income only, therefore this is not accepted. Okay, next. Okay, Q3. This one is basically basically the word side. So let's just draw this out first now. Okay. I'm going to agak this very hard because I do not know how to draw circles. Okay, they overlap, and then you go through here, Okay, stuff like this lah. Something like that. So good enough. This entire thing is 40 degrees. Let me just use a different color so that it stands out. Okay, I don't think that stands out. It's only blended too. Okay. My nose. This is X. This is B. This is S. This is Q. This is Y. This is Z. This is R. This is U. This is O. This is P. Okay. So we have the entire diagram. I'll just change this to blue. Maybe this one, but it's troublesome. It's okay. Okay, so you want to find X, Y, and Z. The question says that the diagram below RST and PQT are common tangents to the circles with centers O and V respectively. So you can see that it doesn't really say anything about the radiuses being perpendicular to each other and being parallel to each other. So you actually cannot assume so. And but I mean, like, it doesn't explicitly tell you that the radiuses are parallel, but you should be able to figure out that much, because if your O and V are your centers and you are touching from your center, you are extending one radius onto your tangents, then these lines must be 90 degrees. And since both of these are 90 degrees, both of the radiuses must be parallel. So that's basically the idea of it. So how do you find X? Let's find X first. Okay, to find X, you want to use the fact that your VST is literally a triangle. Therefore, it is 180. Okay, so VST is literally a triangle. So you can use it. You can use the 180 thing. Since your line from T over here goes through both centers, we can basically assume that it is the middle line, the bisecting line, and therefore it will basically bisect every angle that goes through it, because the two other lines are basically tangents, and tangents, they are equal in length. So in this case, your ST and your QT will be the same length. Same goes to your RT and PT. Therefore, by extension, RS and PS are also equal to each other. So it's basically a gigantic isosceles, whatever you call it, isosceles quadrilateral, I suppose. Yeah, because it's also 90 degrees. So anyway, since we have this, and since your T for a line from T and then going through until U is basically your bisecting line, it cuts everything in half. Therefore, this more part over here is basically 20. So your angle STV, your angle lands on T, so T should be the middle. S and V are surrounding it, so you can write your angle as angle STV. So angle STV, this is equal to 40 dividing by 2, you get 20. Okay, then therefore your 180 equals to your 90, your tangent line, your dividends to tangent, you get 90 plus 20 over here plus your x, your SVT, like this. So what we have is so to find your x, let's bring everything over. So I'm doing this very slow. If you want to speed this up, feel free to, because this question is only 3 marks, so it's basically just 1, 1, 1. Okay, next y. Since both VS and OR are radius from center to your tangent, both are parallel, therefore your ROV will be equal to x. Okay, so if I want to be pedantic, I can say since OR is parallel to VS, therefore angle ROV equals to x equals to 70. Okay, so this is 1/2. Then y is basically the entire thing, so it's just 70 times 2. Therefore your y equals to x times 2, so 70 times 2. Therefore you get 140. Okay, that's basically it. Okay. I'm not sure how Mr. Gandhi got the conclusion of saying y equals to 180 minus 40. I don't really know why you can use that. I mean, like it does make sense, but your ROPT is not even an in-circle coordinator, so I don't know why, but okay. Anyway, this is your y. Okay. Lastly, we have your z. Z is up here. To find your z, you only really need this angle and this angle over here. Okay. My nose, give me a moment. And then you can use the weird ass trick that says if it's a chord, if it's an angle subtended by a chord and a tangent, then you will be equal to the thing you go inside, blah blah blah. No, and we can use that, but not here. It's not straightforward. So to find that, you want to find your two purple angles over here. Anyway, let me just make them a different color actually. Pink. Pink. So we have these two. Okay, so your UOR is a triangle, therefore internal is 180. That one is normal. So your U, okay, you see IUP. Okay. Anyway, it actually doesn't matter. If you find your pink one over here, or UOR, you can just take 180 to minus your half of y, which is 180 minus 70. So your angle of UOR equals to 180 minus 70, you get 110. Okay. Then since your UO and your OR are both radiuses, you can your UR it basically forms a isosceles triangle. Since UO equals to OR, therefore it is an isosceles triangle, so angle IUO will be equal to Z. Okay, so you just take 180 to minus 110, you get back 70. Then this is basically the sum of these two angles, that we have over here, the angles on the base of the triangle, and therefore you can just divide it by 2. Then dividing by 2 you get 35. So one of it is IUO, one of it is Z. So these are both 35. Okay, therefore Z equals to 35, and there you have it. That's basically it lah. So this one mark. Okay, Q3 done. Next. Okay, Q4. I'll just put this big ID, it's fine. Save. Okay, so no concurrent viewers. Okay, we will continue. So question 4 is a logic question, so from 4 chapter 3. A says fill in the boxes below with symbol U or N, union or intersection, as to form a true statement. So a lot of you got this wrong due to not having a general idea of how it actually looks like. P and Q, how do you want it to be smaller than P? For something between P and Q to be smaller than P, you want to physically take a smaller portion. And if you take the union, this is essentially saying, why this does not make sense? This is essentially saying your union of your P and Q, which usually would look like this, is within P itself. So your union within P and Q, which is the higher thing, is within P itself. No lah, this doesn't make sense. The only way this should be true is when P and Q overlap each other. So you have both P and Q in the exact same circle, therefore this should be true. But this isn't even a common case. So why? Why do you want to have two of the same set? Don't know lah. I'll just put this here. Within P question mark. So this is a no. Therefore the correct answer should be P intersect Q is inside P. Why? If I take the exact same diagram and then I take the intersection, it's over here. This one is definitely within the circle P. Yeah, therefore this is correct. 1 mark. Okay, so if you're unsure, please just draw it out. You only really have two options, or you only really have two possible answers, 50-50. If you're unsure, just draw it out. Sets you can just draw and visualize them. Therefore, if you're able to see it, then you can answer better. Okay, next. A is a subset of something between A and B. A is a subset of something larger. Okay, so if you put if you put intersect, this basically means the intersection between A and B is over here. The entire A is inside it. The only way this is true is when A is the only way this is true is when A is a subset of B. But again, in this case, although it is relatively common, it's not what we want over here because we want a general case. Therefore, this is not what the question wants. We did that. Okay. Let's put general data over here. Therefore, we will be taking union instead. Why? Because your A by itself is definitely a subset of the entire thing, the entire union. Yeah. Therefore, this should be correct and you should or not. Okay. I know it's stuck. Okay, sorry about that. Okay. Next, combine the following two statements to form a true statement. So in this case, a lot of you use if then because I believe most of you have forgotten that you can use and or to form statements. So the first statement says 51 is the prime number, which is false. You want to first see the true values of these two things first, of your statements. So this thing is false because 51 is equal to 3 times 17. Okay. Next. -6 is greater than -7. This is a true statement. Okay. So to make something that is, you make one true and one false, when you pair together, you get a true statement. What do you want to use? And no way. And only have when and only is and conditions are only true when both are true. So if then doesn't make sense. These two statements have no relation to each other. You can't use if then. What do you want to imply? So the only one, and you can't use not because not is not a joining. It's not a joining. It's not a statement joiner. It's not something you can use to join statements. So the only thing that you'll be able to use over here is actually or. So it will be a true or a false thing. I don't know if any of you know these symbols. This is a symbol for or. Okay, so true or false means and true. Therefore, the correct answer in this case would be 51 is a prime number or -6 is greater than -7. So this should be a true statement. I don't know if any of you know the symbols. This symbol is the or statement. This symbol, let's write it in blah blah blah. Wow. This symbol is the or symbol. This symbol is the and symbol. This symbol is the not symbol. This arrow is the if then implication, but it's just a normal arrow. It doesn't really bear any extra meaning. So yeah. We can have nor and then, but you don't really need to know what are those are. Those are basically extensions of those. The logic in itself is a very wide subject. It's basically extension of it. Okay. Anyway, Yeah. I don't think these symbols are in the syllabus, it's fine. But yeah, this extra knowledge. Next, see. Right, premise. So premise 1, all quadrilaterals are polygons. Premise 2, blank conclusion, a rectangle is a polygon. So usually, your premise 1 will be your starting point. Okay, this is your starter. Okay, then your premise 2 will usually be a first condition, a condition that it will bring from the starter. So in this case, because it says quadrilaterals, all quadrilaterals are polygons, and your conclusion concludes that something is a polygon. The conclusion concludes that a rectangle is a polygon. Okay, my handwriting is so since your premise, your starter is quadrilaterals and polygons, and then you look at a conclusion, it concludes that something is a polygon. So okay, you see that something has concluded to be the back part of my starter, the back end part of my starter. So polygon is polygon. Okay, so but your rectangle needs to be this is a rectangle. Your rectangle suddenly disappears. But since your rectangle is here as something that is led to believed to be a polygon, you want to bring it up in your premise 2. Okay, so premise 2 must exist rectangle. Your rectangle must exist already in premise 2, because or else where are you going to let it appear in? You want it to be logical. You want it to be Then so a rectangle must appear here. Then since it says quadrilaterals are polygons, for a rectangle to be a polygon, a rectangle must be a quadrilateral. So basically you are trying to use your first part of your starter for premise 1 with premise 2, so quadrilateral will appear in both premise 1 and premise 2. Then wherever you let to be believed as according to the first part of the starter would then be equal to the second part of the starter, which is a polygon in this case. Yeah, so quadrilateral first part of the starter appear both in premise 1 and premise 2. Then your second part of your conclusion of your starter, the polygon, will appear in both premise 1 and your conclusion. That's why this is the answer and gives you 1 mark. Lastly, other conclusion based on the information below. So this is what we call inductive reasoning. This is what we refer to as inductive reasoning, which means you induce your conclusion based on observations, based on past observations. This is also how mathematical proofs usually work half of the time. The other half we do it rigorously. But this is an easy way to get started with mathematical proofs. Anyway, this has nothing to do with it because you're not asked to prove things. So your T1 is 100 minus 1 plus 1 times 1. So basically, you want to, for this type of question, you basically want to find what is changing and what is not changing. Okay. So as I write this out, you might be able to notice that the ones that don't change, the numbers that don't change are basically the 100. So let me just highlight this. The numbers that don't change are these hundreds, your sign, your minus, and your plus 1 over here. But the ones that do change are your 1, 2, 3, 4 over here, and your 1, 4, 9, 16 in this case. So we want our n to be sequentially increasing, so it's 1 2, so it's 0 1 2 3 4 5 6 blah blah blah. You do not want it to jump. So if we do not want it to jump, then we most definitely would not need, we most definitely would make it our n. So your tn can be written, your everything that stays the same will still stay the same. So for this, then my bracket is still here. Since my bracket is the same every single turn, then the one that you want to be able to represent the nth term in this case is the one that is a number that changes. Okay, so your n basically would want to go sequentially, so it would want to follow your 1 2 3 4 5 6, that kind of order, not 1 4 9 6 16, not kind of thing. So your 1 2 3 4, this n bracket over here must be n, so it will be that. So what about our 1 4 9 9 16 over there? If you observe, 1 is 1 square, 4 is 2 square, 9 is 3 square, 16 is 4 square, so it's actually n squared. Therefore I put the n over here. Then to complete it, I would usually put n equals to 1 2 3 4 ... Okay, so this is that. Okay. So after this, the next you need to do, this is basically the T end of the question once. This gives you 1 mark, and that's the end of the question. Next, Q5. Q5 is a cylinder one. So this one basically will require you to know how to calculate the cylinder obviously, and also the cuboid. But it's just that in this case it's not a cuboid, it's a prism. Okay. Okay, let me this a bit. I think I should turn off my mic. Okay, I'm back. Okay, it's been a while and we went through 4 questions. Insane. But I don't know if I can go any faster due to my condition right now, but let's just see how far we can go until I'm forced to end the live stream. Okay, 5. Q5 is a volume question. So the tricky thing about this one is that your solid over there is a white prism. So the way that you want to calculate these is that you want to find your cross section. So when you find the cross section first, so basically the surface that doesn't change no matter where you go, multiplied by the corresponding height. So in this case, if you look at the if you look at this directly, you might be able to see that the face the surface that stays constant throughout the solid is a trapezium on the basically the surface of it lah. Basically the surface of it. So you want to calculate the surface area of your trapezium first. So in this case you have 15, 48 and 32. Therefore the area of the trapezium is equal to both of your sides added up together, you multiply by your height of the trapezium, then you divide by 2. So this will get you a certain area. Okay, if you calculate this, you should be able to get. Where's my calculator? Oh, it's outside. Blah blah blah. Yeah, anyway, you should get this. Then to find the volume of the trapezium, you just multiply the surface area, which is this thing over here, by its height, by the height of the prism, which in this case is 16. So we copy this, then we multiply this entire thing by 16. This one, the answer is given as 9600. Okay, 9600. So this units are all in cm. This will be in cm squared, cm cube. Okay. Next. Sorry. Next, you know you have a cylinder in the middle. You have a cylinder in the middle like this. Okay. So your cylinder in the middle, you need to be carved out, and then it tells you that the cylinder of diameter 14 cm and height 15 cm is taken out from the solid as shown. So to find the volume of the cylinder taken out, you basically use R square h, the area of your circle multiplied by your h. This is essentially the same idea as calculating the area of the volume of the solid. Take the base area that doesn't change and move it upwards throughout the entire solid. Yeah, in the case of a cylinder, it would be the base circle. So you just move it up throughout and it would not change. Okay. So pi square h, it tells you that using pi as 22/7, so you do that. Then your r in this case is 14/7 and 14/2. 14 divided by 2, so you get 7. And then you have a square. Your h is the entire total length of the cylinder, which in this case is 15. Okay. So if you calculate this out, you should be able to get 2310 cm cube. Therefore, the question asks for the volume of the remaining solid. Therefore, the volume of your remaining solid is just taking your volume of your volume of the prism. Actually I should write prism. The volume of your prism. So 9600, you minus your cylinder, so 2310. So this will give you 7290 cm cube. So 4 marks the 4 marks are awarded rather generously. So it's actually like this. So 1, 2, 3, 4. So 1 for prism, 1 for cylinder, 2 marks for luminous solid. 4 marks is a bit much, but we can be generous sometimes, so it's fine. We are allowed to be generous. Okay, next, Q6. Okay, an hour, 1 hour, 5 questions. I spent too much on like Q1. Okay, 6. Again, she shows the Kuala Lumpur Tower. Point P is 500 meters away from the Kuala Lumpur Tower. So for this one, you just draw. Just draw. So I know it looks a bit stagnant because the It looks slanted because it just looks slanted. But it's supposed to be straight. So let's draw this. Then one more. Okay. So it tells you that given the angle of the elevation of the highest point from the tower, so this will be the highest point of the tower. From Niger, this is the person. Draw a small statement. Is 40.1. So this I'll do it in different colors. So this blue color angle is 40.1 degrees, whereas the angle from the elevation of the height of the tower, so excluding the antenna. So the smaller one in pink over here is 33.8 degrees. So it says calculate the height of the antenna mast. Okay. Wait, I need to my nose. Let me turn off the mic. Okay, we're back. Yeah. Okay. So calculate antenna mast. So you want to calculate the length that you want to calculate is this one over here. Let me use a different color. The one that you want to calculate is this one over here. So how do you do it? Since we assume that it is a right angle triangle over like this, and we know that this antenna length is 500 meters. Maybe you can basically just use tangent. I know at least one of you went for sine rule. You don't have. Wait, how do you even use sine rule? Oh, I think some of you went for sine rule, so like you found the hypotenuse, then you use sine rule for whatever reason. I do not know why. You don't. I know they. Oh no. One of you use sine rule because you calculated the angle over here, and then this angle opposite is 200 so this opposite is something else. So you use sine rule for that. But the thing is that for math, I went in black. I went in red. For math, you are not supposed to use formulae. It's not formulas, by the way, it's formulae. The exact plural is formulae. You're not supposed to use formulae for math, which means even though you can use sine rule over here and it is solvable, you can't. Even though sine rule is solvable over here, you can't use sine rule. So yeah, you can't use sine rule basically. So we just use the good old tangent to do things for us. Okay. You know that tangent 14.1 is equal to your entire height. So the schema just marks it as capital H. It's okay, I guess I can. You can actually do this if you want to. You draw the diagram, then you put a big old H over here, or you put another smaller one. You draw this and put a small H. This is also acceptable as long as we know which part is which. I think I sound like I'm very stuffy right now because I am. My nose is just blocked. As long as you can hear me clearly, I'm trying to pronounce as clear as I can already. Anyway, to find your h, because tangent is O over A, I think half of you got it wrong. Like you flipped it around. Just remember the SOHCAHTOA. Just remember the SOHCAHTOA. TOA is O over A, so O is opposite, A is adjacent, so H over 500. So your capital H should be equal to 500 multiplying the value of tangent 40.1. So you should be able to get 421.039. Okay. Actually in math we usually use 2 decimal places. But in terms of the calculations themselves, it doesn't actually matter. I remember when I taught this back then, we were told that only the answer has to be 2 decimals. The workings in the middle can be anything can be 2 to 4, it doesn't matter. Then anyway, you do the same thing to the smaller angle 33.8. This equal to h over 500. So small h equals to 500 multiplying your tangent 33.8. So you should get 334.721 meters. Therefore, the length of your antenna the length of your antenna is equal to your big H minus your small h. So this minus out this. Then over here you will need to put your answer into decimal places, so it will look like that. For marks, any of these rewards 1 mark. Answer for big H, answer for small h, antenna marks. Okay, so this is Q6. Okay lah, we are going rather fast now that we have picked up. Okay, Q7. Oh, by the way, let me just change the song right now. I'm not supposed to play instrumental. The Reato is really good. Actually, since we are here, let's play some Yuria. Okay, there we go. Let's bring in some Yuria. This is pretty good. Anyway, continue. Q7 is the speed time graph. Okay, I believe this one is quite straightforward. If you know how to do it, you guys did get it correct, so it's fine. This is one of the questions that okay, I would say most of the questions are you either blank or you either do it. What's the term for it? You either go or either bus. No, I don't think that's the right term. Anyway, this is a ST graph, speed-time graph. It's different. S is not. S is speed ish. Not to be confused with displacement. Okay, not to be confused with displacement. Okay, so this is 3, this is a 9, this is a 5, this is a T, this is a 16, this is 21. So you have the graph, and then part A, it asks you to set your uniform speed. State basically means 1 mark, and uniform speed is the part that it doesn't change. So it's just 9. And the uniform speed is just 9 because 9 is the part where it doesn't change. That's basically just that. The answer is 9 meter per second square. Meter per second. 1 mark. Okay, part B. Calculate the rate of change of speed. Calculate the rate of change of speed in meter per second square in the first 5 seconds. Rate of change of speed. Okay, so speed over time is basically the graph. Speed over time will basically ask speed and average. This is a speed time graph. So speed is this, time is this. So if speed itself is meter per second, so speed over time is meter per second square. So you're basically taking your speed to divide your time. You're basically finding the acceleration. It's the same idea as mmmath. Basically, it's actually the same idea as mmmath. It's just that we don't call it acceleration per se because it's not in the syllabus. We just call it the rate of change. But it's actually the same thing. Rate of change is basically you take the derivative of it. You just do differentiation. Okay. So in this case, to calculate the rate of change, you basically want to take your speed to divide your time, which in this case you would basically just take the gradient. So this basically is just this equates to the gradient of the line. Let me just move this a bit. The gradient of the line for 0 until 5 seconds. Okay, so you just use this lah. Yes, just use this. Okay, so 1 minus y, 9 minus 3 over x minus x, 5 minus 0, 6 over 5. You can write it into decimals because this is a very simple decimal. So 1.2 meter per second square. So this is actually your acceleration that you have from mmmath. It's actually your velocity. You take the derivative of velocity, you get acceleration. And then for acceleration, you just integrate back into velocity. Velocity, you integrate back into displacement. Displacement, you can't go up anymore because I don't even know what does it mean to have meter second. Yeah, I don't even know what does it mean to have meter second. And there's no such unit where you can do it that you can integrate one more step above displacement. It just doesn't exist. Like, how do you measure the what is it such that your distance would be a rate of change? Question mark. I don't have an idea. Abstract physics. Okay, part C. Part C tells you that calculate the value of t if the total distance traveled for the period of 60 seconds is 153 meters. Distance is the area under the graph of ST because well, you integrate, okay, this MF, but most of you take MF anyway, so I think it's fine. If you integrate velocity, which is speed in this case, it's just that we don't talk about direction, we get distance, which is basically your displacement. So integration is equivalent to taking the area under the graph, area under the curve. So you just do the entire thing. So your 153 will be equal to your trapezium plus your square plus your rectangle plus your trapezium. So it's split into 3 parts. Your first part, second part, and third part. Your first part is basically your trapezium. So your parallel sides are 3 and 9 respectively. So you get a 3 plus 9. You multiply by your height, which is 5, then divide by 2. So this is 1. Then Alright. This one here, let's do Mother Machine. It's also really good. Okay, then your rectangle is the simplest one. Your height is 9 multiplied by your length, which is t minus 5. Okay, so this is your part 2. Then part 3, same thing, you have another trapezium. Your parallel sides are 9 and 21 in this case, so 9 plus 21. You multiply by your height, which is in this case 16 minus t, this one over here. Then you divide by 2. So this is your part 3. Okay. And you just expand. Just expand it. If you want to, you can multiply the entire thing by 2. But it's not necessary actually. I'll just expand and you see what I mean. 3 plus 9 is 12. 12 times 5 is 60. 60 divided by 2 is 30. And you multiply inside plus 9t minus 45. 9 plus 21 is 30. 30 divided by 12. 30 divided by 2 you get 15. So 15 you multiply into the bracket. Okay, never mind. Oh, just was skipping the mic. Okay. Okay. 15 times 16, you can hit your calculator 180. No, that's incorrect. I was eyeballing it too much. 140. And then minus 15t. Okay, then you have 9 minus 15 minus 60. 30 minus 45 plus 240. Just plug in the calculator. You should be able to get 225. So your 60 and your 153 swap places becomes positive, bring over, 153 bring over to the other side, you get negative. And this one you just just calculate it out. Oh, how convenient. You should be able to get okay, so we do so t60 you get by bringing 6 over to the right, so 72 divided by 6 you get 12. And since your t is in seconds, this is seconds. Okay, save. Okay, next question. Q8. Okay, let me see. Oh, this one is a bit wonky. The schema is quite confusing, but I'm just gonna teach you the way I know it. Let me sneeze a bit. Okay, be back. Wait, let me drink some water. Okay. Question 8 is the combination type question. It's not really P and C, it's just a normal probability Our question. It's not really PhD, it's not MF level. Yeah. So let's just go through this a little bit. Given the cards B, E, K, D, U, B, K, D, U. So true. For you. This is a sample space. Which basically just gives you 1 mark. So the situation given here is, put into the box, the 2-letter code is formed by using any 2 of these cards. 2 cards are picked and random one after another without replacement. So because of this, the number of possible outcomes, you can go from BE, BK, B, donkey, BU, and then you just do it in one direction, but it can also repeat in the other direction as well. So if you want to list a sample space for this particular event, sample space will actually use the symbol omega to represent it. This is more like a math thing. Only I learned it, so yes, I do know about this. And if you're interested, you can look up the term probably. Or you can, if you're interested, you can look up the term probability triple. So this is something that describes the connections between the sample space, the probability that is basically a function, and also the different outcomes that are possible. But enough of that. The omega is a sample space, and in this case, it basically doesn't want to write everything. So let me just. You want to write out 1 round. So B, BK, B, donkey, BU, and then just repeat, and then B, BK, B, BE, BK. But okay, so the idea is that you basically encounter every single possible by going through in sequence. So BE, BK, BD, BE, BK, BD, BU, and then EB, EK. Since there's no replacement, so you can't have EE. EK, EB, EK, ED, EU. Then KB, KE, KD, KU. DB, DE, DK, DU. UB, UE, UK, UD. A total of 20 possible outcomes. Close. Set. Okay, so this is a sample space. It is a set that contains all the possible outcomes for this event, which involves choosing 2 letters one from another, one after another. Okay. So these are the possible outcomes. There are 20 in total. Writing all of them gives you 1 mark. If you only went one single direction, I think I got lenient. I think I was lenient and also gave you 1 mark. Okay, so this is yeah. And this portion is enough for B. It's not that much. So B, you see it says that these are all the possible outcomes, so you have to do this as well. For the of the event and find the probability that, okay, then you have 1 and 2. Because B question 1 says the code begins with the letter B. So your I want to say Borel subset, but that's a uni term, so let's just ignore that. Your possible outcomes in this case is given as everything starts with B, so BE, BK, BD, and BU. So listing all possible outcomes gives you 1. Then the probability for this event to happen, you can use the MF notation. Okay, not really. Not really. Let's try to avoid using any MF notation if possible. So the probability in this case is 4 possible outcomes out of the 20 total, so 4 over 20, you get 1 over 5. This gives you 1 mark. Okay, this is part 1. Okay, part 2, we want to do the same thing. Part 2, the condition is code consists of 2 vowels or 2 consonants. So 2 vowels, you have E, U, U, E. 2 consonants, you have VK, KB, VD, DB, KD, DK. So it's only at BK and donkey. So BK, KB, BD, DB, K, donkey, KD, DK. Okay, then anything else? Close. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 8 possible outcomes. So you have a total of you have a total of 8 possible outcomes. Let me just double check. Yeah, 8 possible outcomes over 20 total outcomes. So this one you just divide, you would get 2 over 5. Anything else you need to do? This should be your answer. So 1 mark and 1 mark for this. Okay, so that will be question 8 done. Next, question 9. The question that alright, if you know, you know. Anyway, this question is a bit weird because most of you are unable to see it, but it's okay, we can go through it. This is on P or C, this is your M, your V, your A, and your B. So this is 14, this is 24, like this. And then V is vertically, and this is V is 9 cm vertically above the point M. So we have this. Okay, diagram 6 shows the pyramid with horizontal rectangular base ABCD. M is the midpoint of CD and apex where the V is 1 cm vertically above the point M. So part A asks you to name the angle between VB and plane ABCD. So and plane ABCD. So the idea is this: if I go from VB to here, I don't get a right angle triangle because this angle by itself, although if I look at VB donkey itself, it might look like a right angle triangle, but from the 3D point of view, it's not right angle at all. Therefore, we reject this condition. If we use BC, if issue happens, BC is inherently a slanted line. Therefore, you cannot use it as the angle. So what we want to achieve is VB can form a right angle triangle with the plane ABCD. So if you go to donkey to see, none of them will achieve that. And how do we do this? Is because V itself, we want to find a point such that V is vertically above it, then we can attach to it, because vertically above means that this is a right angle, therefore this is also a right angle. Your 3D right angle is also a right angle. Therefore, we'll be using this one instead. because V is not vertically perpendicular directly to donkey and C, but it is perpendicular to M. Therefore, we say that this is what we want. We want to form a right angle triangle between the line and the plane. Okay, so this is only one that counts. Therefore, the angle between the line VB and plane ABCD is the angle of this, which will be VBM. Anything else than this is just one mark. This is only one mark. Okay, then part B. Calculate the angle between the line VB and the plane ABCD. So this will involve trigonometry and tangent basically. This will involve second tangent basically. So to find this angle, if we split out the triangle itself, this is your V, this is your M, this is your B. You want to find this angle. This is 9. So you want to find how much this is. Okay, then basically you want to find. So given the information you have over here, you might not be able to find any information regarding this. We only know that to find VBM, we need either VB or VM. VB is not obtainable, we can try BM. Since your base over here is essentially, your base over here is essentially a rectangle. Since your base over here is essentially a rectangle, therefore you definitely have a 90 degree over here. Okay. And M being the midpoint over here, this can connect a line over here, then I get a right angle triangle. So to find the line of BM, I can use Pythagoras. I know BC is 24 as given by the question. My AB is 14, therefore since my M is the midpoint, my DC is half, so I get a 7 over here. A common combination of, okay, it's a connection, good, it's still going, yeah, it's still going, good. Okay, sorry. So a common combination of Pythagoras is 7, 24 and 25, or you can just calculate out. So you can actually get your BM to be equal to 24 square plus 7 square. Square root, you should be getting 25. 7, 24, 25 is a rather common Pythagorean multiple and Pythagorean triple. You can memorize it as much as you want to, as much as you can. Then since we have 25 over here already, we can use tangent. So we know that the tangent of your VBM is given as your O over A, so it will be 9 over 25. So to find the angle of your VBM, just bring your tangent over to the other side so it becomes its inverse function, its own inverse. And then you calculate this out, you should be able to get 19.80 degrees. So this is basically what you want. So this gives you 1, this gives you 1. Yeah. Okay, so this is Q9. I'm actually not sure if I can finish it today. Let's just see how things go. Yeah. Let's just see how things go. Okay, so 10, Q10 we have this thing. Let me drink a bit of water. I should be drinking hot water, but unfortunately I'm not exactly at home right now, so I don't have access to hot water. Also, I think I need to peace out a bit higher. Okay. Anyway, I need to turn on my problem. Hello. Wait, this is our headset. Hello. We are back. Wait, King is back. This guy is looking at the fence, he's fine. Actually, King is back. I believe never mind, I forgot to return my mic. It's okay. It's not okay, whatever. I forgot to have the... whatever. If you know, you know. Anyway, question 10. So, level 1 shows the number of questions we answer correctly or wrongly by 2 teams in mathematics quiz. So, the tricky part in this question is that if you answer wrongly, you're supposed to minus out your marks, but no one got it correctly because it even say the question it says this question answered correctly is given X marks, whereas its question answered wrongly is deducted Y marks. So which means whatever questions you answered wrongly, you are supposed to actually minus out from the total marks. But no one seems to get it correctly. So everyone just put plus. It's supposed to be minus. It's supposed to be minus 5 and minus 9. So the equation that you should start with should be 25x minus 5y equals to 380 marks. You answered 25 correctly, then you answered 5 wrongly, so the 25 you answered correctly, you minus out the 5, then you minus out the you answered wrongly, so you minus 5y. Then same goes to the other equation, the second equation. 26x minus 9y, because you answered 9 questions wrongly, so you minus it out. Yeah. From here, you might be able to see already, if you are vigilant enough, you might be able to see that, oh, 1x equals to 4y. Stuff like that. Yeah, you might be able to see that already. But if you don't, just do more. Okay, if you are not able to see, please do more. Please do more questions. Yeah. Anyway, since it says I want you to find x and y. Find the value of x and y by using the matrix method. We use matrix method. We convert this to matrix. Okay. This is sampling challenge. Okay, so we convert to matrix. So we get I like to use this type of matrices. We call this B matrix, if I'm not mistaken. There's B, there's P, and there's one more other that I forgot. I know P is the one that's basically the bracket, or B is the bracket. It doesn't matter. Anyway, I prefer to use this type of brackets. You can use normal brackets if you want to. I like to use square brackets. So 25 minus 9, 26 minus 8, 25 minus 5, 26 minus 9. So one equation, one row, not one column. One equation, one row. And this will be multiplied by your x and y over here. This will be equal to your right hand side 380. So 2 times 2 multiply 2 by 2 multiply 2 by 1, you get a 2 by 1. Make sense? Yeah. 2 by 2 multiply 2 by 1, you get 2 by 1. Make sense? Okay. So from here on, it's basically standard per se. You want to if you bring your 2 by 2 over, you basically want to put it in front of your 2 by 1, because then only you can multiply, and then you want to find its inverse. So it will be 1 over 25 multiply negative 9 minus 25 multiply negative 9 minus 26 multiply negative 5, and then this is 1 over. This that then yes, beneath is basically the determinant of the matrix. Okay, then you want to inverse. So your two positions up here, you swap places. Then your two other positions, you change them into their negatives. Okay. Then your 2 by 1 still stays here, 380. Okay. Then just calculate lah. We basically from here just calculate. The one at the bottom over here, you should be able to get 95. Negative 95. Wait, let me just double check. Yeah, she should be able to get. Yeah, she should be able to get negative 95. Yes, it's negative 95. Then your 2 by 2 you can multiply by your 2 by 1. So minus 9 multiply 380 plus 5 multiply 380. The bottom, negative 26 multiply 380 plus 25 multiply 380. This looks silly, but it is indeed like that. You put them both into a calculator and reduce it to one line. You put it both into a calculator, you should be able to get negative 1520. Let me just double check, and negative 380. Yeah, correct. Let me just double check. Yep, that's correct. Then you just multiply or determinant inside. So you just divide both by negative 95. Okay. So this after you divide, you should be able to get 60 and 4. Therefore, x is equal to 16 marks, y equal to 4 marks. So this is your answer. So what this result means, sorry, hit my mic. So what this result means is that if you find blah, blah, blah. In this combination, you answer one question correctly, you get 16 marks. You answer one question wrongly, you minus 4 marks. Damn, 400%. Okay, 400% difference. Interesting. So distribution. This is a 1. This is a 1. This is a 1. Both answers get a 1. Okay, save. Next, continue. 11, the fan one. Most of you knew that most of you guys knew that you were supposed to use it 3D as a circle. So you knew you knew to find the angle, the radius and whatnot, but some of you only use the diameter, the radius of the middle portion of the fan, where instead it's the blades, it's the tip of the blades. The blades is 60 cm. So that part will be counted into your radius as well. Okay. Move on. Up. If you are watching this video in the future, please let me know if you like or do not like the music choice. I can adjust. It's very easy for me to find music anyway. I mean, obviously stuff that is not too distracting, that will cover my voice. So please don't expect stuff that will get me copyright strike. So please don't expect stuff like Abatsu to appear on the stream or something like that. The most mimi we can go is like me just saying 咚咚咚小火 or like 自己饭吃两盘. Yeah. Anyway, continue. Diagram 7 question 11. Diagram 7 below shows the latest 5-blade fan produced by leading yapping. Given that the length of each fan blade is 60 cm and the diameter of the fan cover is 20 cm. Assuming that the angle between each fan blade is uniform and each blade is represented by blade A to blade E, as given by the diagram. By using pi equals to 2207, calculate A, the distance traveled in cm by the end of blade A rotating to the position of blade C through blade B. Okay, so the easiest way to do this is to draw a circle. Just draw it out. I'll use black for this. Okay, this is my center of the fan. Your cover is 20 cm, so it extends a little bit around here. So the radius of the fan cover is 10 cm. Then you also have your fan blades, which is 60 cm to 60 cm. So your radius of the circle in total is actually 70 cm. You have 5 fan blades, so they would be roughly distributed like this. This is somewhat accurate. Sushi water. What? Oh, house winter. Okay. So yeah, it's uniform. So first things first, one angle of theta is equal to 360. How many portions do you have? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. You're about 5. One portion is 72. Okay. So if you go, let's look at part A. If you go from A to C to B, you'll be going through 2 sectors, 2 portions. So the theta that you'll be using over here, your angle, which will basically be 72 times 2. So you have 172. You go through 2 portions. So you are basically going through 272 to get a degree of 144. Okay, then since you want to find the distance traveled, we are basically finding the length of the arc. So we are basically finding the arc length of AC. Okay, and this is equal to the entire diameter, the circumference of the circle, so 2 pi r, multiplied by the ratio that is made between your degree, your angle. So it will be 144 dividing 360. Okay, and so your 2 pi is 22 over 7. Your r in this case is from the center to the tip of the fan blade, so it's 70. 10 plus 60. So this one is 10 plus 60. Okay, so multiply by 144 over 360. Okay, so this you just put this entire thing into a calculator. You put this entire thing into a calculator, you should be able to get 176. This is in cm, so put a cm over there. In terms of marks, this is 1, this is 1, this is 1. Okay, yeah, there we go. Okay, then so there's 3 marks. Part B wants you to find the area covered by blade A when turning to position of blade donkey through blades B and C. So you go from A to donkey through B and C. So in this case, you have 3 sections. So you go from, I'll just draw here, you go from here to here to here, and then point, you stop here. So you go through 1, 2, 3 sectors. Okay, undo. Okay, you go through 3 sectors. Okay, so I'll just draw this. So your degree used in this case will be 72 times 3. So you get 216. Okay, then so you get 216. So in this case, you want the area. So the area of major sector A, B, C, D, because A through B, C, D, yeah. You can put an O in the middle, but it doesn't give you much, so no need lah. It's really speaking is A, B, O, C, D, but A, B, C, D, O, but you don't have to. Area of major sector A, B, C, D, this is equal to yeah, this should be it. Let me say. So this should be equal to my sinus. This should be equal to your pi r square. This is the area of a circle multiplied by the ratio formed by your degrees, formed by angles. Same thing. Pi is 22 over 7. R in this case is still 70. In this case you have a square. You multiply 216 over 360. So this should be able to give you 9240. This is an area we use cm square. Yeah, we use cm square. Okay, so 3 marks. A degree 1 mark, this one 1 mark, this one 1 mark. Okay, so total of 3 marks, total of 6. Okay lah. I mean, this is not live class, so any questions, no questions, we just move on. Yeah. Oops, and then I hit the mic. Okay, 12. Let me just get rid of the okay, I think I talk better now. It's no longer like clogging my nose like crazy. Let me turn off the mic first, I need to sneeze. Okay lah. Actually now it's 12:20 AM. And I think since we're now in question 11 and question 12 is quite long, so I think it's actually the remaining questions are all actually quite long, so I think it's actually a good time to stop right now. So this will be part 1 of the MYE recording, of the explanation for MYE. So I will see you in part 2. Bye bye.